Hey, what's up guys? It's Casey. So hopefully this is your first time using the lead source organizer. So I want to show you one of the first features that you can do with this, which is reassigning uh, lead sources to different contacts. I have a little example here of that, but I'm going to explain a different example from an actual contact record in Infusionsoft. So for this contact, this one has a lead source of Google dash organic dash not set, not set, not set, whatever. So that's great. iTracker collected some data on this guy. He was an organic lead from Google. That's great. But this lead source looks a bit sloppy, and sometimes you'll see different variations of that lead source depending on, your iTracker settings and other stuff. But wouldn't it be nice if we could take this guy and say, you know what? I just want him to see him on a report with the lead source of just Google. That would look a lot cleaner on a report, right? And for everybody else that has all those different variations of that Google organic lead source, assign all those people to just the lead source of Google. Now you can go in Infusionsoft and go and manually do that and everything, but it's kind of tedious and you have to do it every day or every week or whatever just to keep your reports clean. So that's what this lead source organizer can do. It can basically go through and reassign lead sources to make your lead source reporting cleaner. So let's set that up. Let's go in to the lead source organizer, and the first thing you'll want to do is import or refresh your contacts and lead sources. That way we'll have the most up-to-date contact and lead source data in this tool. Now I don't have a lot of contacts or lead sources, so that that updated really fast because this is a test account. So if you have a lot of contacts, it might take a little while. You'll see a message that says currently downloading. You might just wait until it finishes. But for this account, I have 424 lead sources. Now, most of them do not have contacts assigned to them. You're going to see a bunch of lead sources in here that were created either from the Infusionsoft web tracking code or created from iTracker or from somewhere else, right? So there's a bunch of these that have 0 lead sources. I kind of call them these trashed lead sources that I want to delete, and I'll show you how to delete those in bulk later. But for right now, let's just get these contacts reassigned for the ones that have like the Google, organic stuff. So I'm going to search for Google here, and here's that lead source of Google. It's actually assigned to the organic category, which is great. But I want everybody that has like this organic Google or Google organic or whatever variation it is. I want those people where I have like one person here, one here, I have a couple people here. I want them reassigned to this lead source. So if you're going to be reassigning lead sources, you have to designate this as a main lead source. So I'm going to designate that as a main lead source. And that's the only reason you'll designate something as a main lead source is when you're trying to reassign contacts to this lead source. So you don't need to go through and designate everything as a main lead source or anything like that, only whenever you're trying to group lead sources together to be reassigned. So I have that as my main lead source. So once you have at least one main lead source, you can go to this next step. I'm going to go here, and here's my organic Google one, and I'm going to search for Google. And these are all my other lead sources. So let's take this one that has one person. Actually, I'll do this one first, this one up here. So that's a Google organic one. I'm going to check that one, and I need to check these 4. So to do that quickly, you can do this and then hold Shift and click this one. It'll check all of them. So if you have a whole bunch of them, you can check them quickly, right? So I have these 5 lead sources selected, and just to show you how to undo something, I'm going to check this one on accident, right? And so I have these lead sources. I'm going to put them under this main lead source. You can only select one main lead source because you're trying to categorize these under there, and I'm going to hit update lead source groups. So once you do that, these are basically moved under this main lead source. So everybody that's assigned to one of these lead sources here, all these people are going to get moved to this main lead source. And that's going to happen either you can push these changes like right now, or you can wait where they're pushed nightly. And if you'd like, you can view the contacts that are going to be updated. So this shows all the contact records and it says, hey, here's their old lead source and this is going to be their new lead source once we push these changes into Infusionsoft. Now I made a mistake. I added this AdWords Infusionsoft. I don't want them reassigned to Google because I'm going to have a different lead source for AdWords. So I'm going to go and unnest that one. So let's go find that one. So here it is, Google AdWords. I'm going to check it. And at the bottom, I have this undo selected nesting. I'm going to click that. And that will basically, move that AdWords lead source out and back into, my other lead sources here, right? So I have my Google stuff categorized. I'm good to go on that. I'm actually ready to push these changes into Infusionsoft so that it'll update, these contact records. But before I do that, I have to set up this remove lead source action set. And the reason I have to do that is because we can't overwrite a lead source through the API. We just can't do it. It's not possible. But if you create a remove lead source action set, what we'll do is in this action set, we'll set the lead source ID to 0. That essentially removes the lead source from the contact. Now we can actually update their lead source if they don't have a lead source. So that's how we're going to overwrite their lead source, is by running this action set first and then trying to assign the new lead source. You can also set this action set up, and then you can have this feature disabled right now, while you kind of organize everything, and then when you're ready to actually push changes, you can enable the feature. So I'm going to show you how to do this in the next video, how to create the remove lead source action set and enable this and push changes.